Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2025 United States Women's Disc Golf Championship presented by Discraft and seahafernews.com. We're at the press conference, and we are here live coming to you from the University of Wisconsin Green Bay, Manitowoc campus. Very first guest is Kristin Tattar. Kristin, last weekend you spoke of not only not feeling well, but also possibly a broken toe. So we have to know, how are you doing?
I feel like I'm doing slightly better. Each day it's getting better. Last couple of days I had to practice though, like two rounds a day. So today I'm very tired, and my toe is not doing good on the concrete pads. I feel like. I'm hoping it's not broken. I haven't said it's broken, so I don't know where you got that news, but it looked bad for sure. So I'm hoping for the best, that I just sort of hit my toe really hard, but I cannot really move it. So it's very hard and difficult to wear my disc golf shoes. I thankfully have one pair of shoes which are one number bigger than my normal shoes, so I'm wearing those. But yeah, I'm planning on competing and doing my best, but we'll see how it goes.
You're obviously proficient in both forehands and backhands. Does one shot or another hurt more with regard to your toe if you're throwing a backhand versus a forehand?
Backhand definitely hurts more because it's on my right foot. But I mean, yeah, just walking and being on my feet all day, it's also pretty exhausting. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm trying not to think about it too much and just take one day at a time. And yeah, it is what it is, and we all have some challenges in our way, and that's mine currently. So yeah.
Well, you had a relatively short drive coming over from Minnesota into Wisconsin. What have your impressions been thus far of being in Wisconsin?
Very nice. We have a very, very beautiful Airbnb by the lake. So it's very nice to wake up and have this amazing view. But other than that, I've only been on the course. Like, I've been sleeping and playing disc golf. Yeah, and the courses are prepared very nicely. They're a lot different than what we are used to playing on tour. I feel like they're super wooded. Some of the greens are a little bit sketchy. I feel like you have to have some luck approaching the green. Some holes are very long, some are short, so there's a mixture of everything, and yeah, I'm excited to see how it all plays out.
That's the follow-up is you're playing Roland Ridge, about 20 minutes west of here, and then you're also playing Super Silver. Is there a course that you prefer one over the other, and how would you describe them now that you've seen them both in practice?
I don't know. I guess I feel like I'm leaning towards Silver Creek a little bit more. I feel like there's a little bit more room to play with, but like I said, there are some holes that have greens that are super tough, in my opinion. They have a lot of trees, and we have not been really playing any wooded courses on tour. So it is a challenge, but generally I do love playing tight tunnels. So I'm trying to remember how to do that, and I'm playing with my straight fairways and mid-ranges here. So I'm just hoping that they work. And I also hope there's a little bit of luck on my side.
You're ready for it. This year, you haven't finished worse than second. It's either been first or second at every event that you've played in. With that in mind, what's the grade you would give yourself? How would you rate what you've been doing this season for yourself? Sounds
pretty impressive.
Yes, it does.
No, I'm happy. I'm happy with my results. I cannot complain. Every time I've been second, I feel like I've been right there competing for the victory. So far I've been putting myself into position of playing for the title every weekend I've been on tour, and I cannot really complain. There are so many tough opponents out there who play excellent disc golf, and it just blows my mind to finish that strong. So yeah, I'm trying to keep it up, but it's a tough task.
My last question would be, back in 2019 when you won this for the first time, this event, do you feel like that really put your name and yourself on the map in an international way, was taking down that event in 2019?
Definitely, yeah. I think it gave me this little booster to come out more and to get a better contract and to really start touring. So yeah, I really I think back to it, and I remember having a really good feeling at the start of the tournament that I think I might win it, even though I didn't have any like logical explanation for it, and I ended up winning. So it was very magical, and yeah, it helped me a lot.
Well, that too was right in the Midwest, so you're back in that area. I wish you the best of luck, and I have Steven here with Seehafer News.
Hello, Kristin. Very nice to meet
Hello.
you. From the local media outlet here. As people here, of course, people know about the disc golf course and what they are, and people play disc golf here. But what did you have to do to decide, I want to come play this U.S. Tournament here in Wisconsin?
Well, as a professional disc golfer, I think our job is to be at the majors, and I'm just happy that it happens to be in a very nice place like this. So yeah, I'm playing the majors regardless where they are, but it's a bonus to have such a nice location by this lake and have these beautiful courses.
Right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Kristin, and we'll be right back with Silva Saarinen. Welcome back, everyone. Silva Saarinen is joining us. Silva, really big last 2 weekends. You win in Sweden, then win at Preserve last weekend. How are you feeling today?
I feel great. Last 2 weeks has been crazy, and yeah, it's nice to play again this week.
Are you getting nonstop messages and congratulations and people reaching out to you? Has it been overwhelming, the amount of people that are probably reaching out to you to congratulate you?
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
About 5.5 hours, you traveled from Minnesota to here. What have been your impressions of Wisconsin so far?
Yeah, it's nice here. I don't know, hard question.
Okay. Has there been anything off the course that you've been able to experience in Wisconsin? I know it's only been a couple days, but has there been anything else outside of disc golf here so far?
I would say our Airbnb is nearby Lake Michigan, and it's a nice place. I didn't know it's like that here.
It almost feels like an ocean, doesn't it? It's
Yes, it's so big.
yeah, one of our biggest for sure. In playing the 2 courses, you've practiced both, I assume?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What would you say about both courses? How would you describe them to someone back in Finland, for instance?
I don't know, what would I say? Maybe these are not my favorites. There is so many random holes, like holes where is not like real line, and I think it's not the point of disc golf.
Okay, so do you prefer the Rolling Ridge course, or do you prefer the Silver Creek course more? Is there one that you like more than the other?
Pretty much the same, yeah.
Do you feel that it'll matter, knowing that you mostly throw backhand? Do you feel that will matter on this course?
We will see it. If I throw good, it doesn't matter. If I throw bad, I would need forehand as well.
You said last weekend you didn't need any forehands during the weekend. Does that mean that you played very well?
Yes.
What will you need to do to keep your good play going? These 2 great weekends in a row, this is now a major. What will you need to do to keep the good play going for yourself?
It just needs, then I'm able to throw and putt good. But yes, it doesn't need any like weird things to play good. Yeah.
My last question is, viewers notice that you use your phone a lot during the round. And the question was, is that to look at scores, or is that to communicate with other people?
Both of those. Yes, but yes, I always know the scores.
Excellent.
And how other players are playing there. But yes, I also communicate with my friends during my rounds.
All right, my last question actually is, what would it mean for you to win your first PDGA Major?
Yeah, it would be amazing, and yeah, it's my goal to win Major. I don't know, is it here or somewhere else, but yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, and I think that's all we have. We wish you the best of luck this weekend.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Holyn Handley is joining us. Holyn, who sits atop of the world standings right now, especially after another great weekend last weekend. I'm going to lead with the same question, though, I asked Kristin, which is, do you have any injury updates? Are you anything that's not feeling right? We saw you in a little bit of pain last week during the event. How are you doing?
Yeah, I had a little pull or something in my brace leg, and it was kind of bothering me walking, especially walking on some uneven ground and some hills and stuff. And then when I was throwing my full power backhands, but it hasn't gotten any worse even with all of the practice that I've been doing this week. In fact, it's maybe trending a little bit better. So it's the kind of thing, it might be a little bit uncomfortable at times, but I'm not really worried about it.
I was just going to ask, is there anything else that you can do to reduce the pain or prevent anything else from happening? Is it a matter of playing?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of, kind of managing it, so not throwing more than I really need to. All of my throws this week were only throws that were going to progress me towards preparing for the tournament, so no extra throws. I didn't do the doubles match or any of that stuff. And then today, I'm taking today completely off to try and give it a chance to really recover and feel good tomorrow. So, it's just that, listening to my body and trying to not overdo things, take a little ibuprofen so that maybe it's a little less distracting during the tournament.
And speaking of practice, last year you were here, almost a year ago. Mm-hmm. You and Missy Gannon did a practice round out at Silver Creek, posted it to YouTube with the hopes that people would see, what they would be experiencing here as a preview. Is there anything in the last couple of days of practice that you feel like you've changed up since you filmed that a year ago?
Not a ton of major changes. Maybe a couple spots, I'm throwing a different disc because maybe stuff has beat in since then. But for the most part, no, actually, I felt like Silver Creek was the easier one to prepare for of the two.
Well, leading on that, compare the two courses for everyone that's never been here before. How would you compare Rolling Ridge versus the Silver Creek course? Yeah,
Rolling Ridge, there's a couple open holes, but for the most part, it's a very tight wooded course. There's a few holes where, maybe like the last 100 feet or so, you kind of got to get a little lucky, I think, to really get a good putt for birdie. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of throwing it at a very tight gap, and if you're off by a few inches, you might get away with it, but you might kick really deep into the woods. And then I think Silver Creek, the lines are a little bit more open. You've still got some woods and some open. It's maybe more park style, I would call it. Maybe a little bit more typical to what we see on the tour.
So even with a little pain last week, you battled hard. You came back with a great final round. You averaged 993 for the entire weekend, which is above your current rating. And you haven't finished outside the top 5. You kept that streak going with a tie for 4th last weekend. What does that say about your game and your consistency right now?
Yeah, the only thing that was really holding me back last week was my putts were all coming out a little bit low. I think it was one of my maybe worst C1X putting weekends of the year. But, if my bad weekend is still top 5, that's pretty good. That speaks a lot to the improvements I've made in course management, going into this year. So, yeah, as frustrated as I was to not be in the mix with how good I was throwing, you can't be mad at a top 5.
Coming over from Minnesota, like I said, about 5.5 hours or so to get here. What are some of your impressions about Wisconsin disc golf, and the event you're going to play this weekend?
The mosquitoes are no joke. But yeah, definitely learned to wear bug spray after that first couple of practice rounds. But yeah, it feels like, we're coming into summer here, the heat, the humidity, but the people have been really nice and welcoming. I think the courses look amazing. I can tell a ton of work went into them. And yeah, I'm excited to play here.
Excellent. I think that's, we got one more question. Yeah, here you go.
Hi, Holyn. Stephen Devine. I work for C. Hayford News, the local media group here in Manitowoc. I don't know if anybody's come along with you, but I know that was talked about last night at an event you attended previously. How does it feel to just have the support from everyone as you're traveling around the world to compete in events like this?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I would describe it as it's like the perfect amount of famous, quote unquote, because when you're at the course, you're kind of treated like a rock star a little bit. People are excited to see you, excited to chat with you. But then as soon as I leave, I'm back to being anonymous, which is kind of nice. So yeah, it's super awesome. I really appreciate everybody.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we wish you the best of luck this weekend, Holyn, and we'll be right back with Missy Gannon. Joining us now is our defending United States Women's Disc Golf Champion and Missy Gannon. Missy, you won in Texas last year, and I'd love for you to compare and contrast the courses there versus what you're going to be tackling over the next few days.
Well, I think the first big difference is last year we played one course, but it was brand new, pretty much, over the course of 4 rounds. This year, we have to tackle 2 courses, which we're not, we're accustomed to, but they're kind of similar styles. So I would say it's, again, all about hitting your angles and knowing your lines and knowing where the misses are. So while it is 2 different properties, I think that they require similar skill sets and skill sets that I feel pretty confident in. So, yeah.
Last weekend at the Preserve, you were attempting to defend the title that you also acquired there in 2024, but after round 1, you said you don't necessarily feel pressure when it comes to title defenses. Does that apply to a major like this one this year?
Sure, yeah. I mean, even more so because, this is my first time ever playing Rolling Ridge. I've played here at Silver Creek before, both competitively and casually, so I have a little bit more experience on that course. But yeah, I think because U.S. Women's has always kind of roamed around the country, it's always a new challenge, and so it's really hard to compare. It's hard to defend your title, I guess, but in general, that's hard to do. So yeah, it's just I think I succeed when I'm just sort of tackling it hole by hole and not thinking about the bigger picture or the title defense or anything like that. You just have to go in with like a fresh mindset and just try to play your best.
Well, let's rewind to a few years ago. Back in 2020, you were here, you played the Super Silver layout with some slight adjustments, and after 3 rounds there, you finished second to Lisa Fakis. But even with all that being said, you have more rounds out there than most of the field. Do you lean into that course any more or less than you do at Rolling Ridge? Do you feel like there's a...
Sorry. I certainly spent more time at Rolling Ridge this week. I played doubles here yesterday at Silver Creek, and that was my first real round out here this year. And then today I just went out right before being here to just kind of tackle a couple holes that I didn't feel good about yesterday. So yeah, I got 2 full rounds at Rolling Ridge and then kind of 1.5-ish out here at Silver Creek because I feel like I have a pretty good handle on this course. And I felt like because we start rounds 1 and 2 at Rolling Ridge, I wanted that to be the freshest in my mind, and really wanted to give that one the attention that I feel like it deserves because it's going to set you up for the weekend coming into Silver Creek. So I thought that was the way I wanted to attack my practice, and hopefully that'll translate into my first 2 rounds.
I'm certainly hearing the confidence in the game plan at both courses, which I love. The question is, what exactly is that game plan? If you had to describe it to someone else that hasn't been here, how would you describe that game plan?
Try to keep it simple. Lean into your strengths. I mean, I always love playing in the woods, and I think that quite literally playing in the woods gives me tunnel vision, which I think is really helpful, actually. I only see the one line, and that's the line you have to hit, or else you might be scrambling. So yeah, it's just leaning on your go-to discs and just knowing your angles. And so I think there are a lot of like pushing hyzers on both courses really, but especially Rolling Ridge. And yeah, just attacking when you feel confident and maybe dialing back when you don't have to quite get so aggressive to still get the birdie. So yeah, it's just trying to keep it simple, but also just throwing the shots that you're the most confident in, because a course like Rolling Ridge is going to punish you if you're off the fairway. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Well, speaking of tunnels and being off of a fairway, very different look last weekend at the Preserve. Feel like you had plenty of room to work with out there. You started out strong with a 6 under, but then you kind of struggled and slowed down in round 2 with a 1 under and even in the final day. Anything you can attribute that to?
Yeah, I mean, I had a few things going on outside of disc golf, and just couldn't really keep my head in it. So I'm feeling better now, and it's a new weekend, so yeah.
Well, many of us saw your post, and we offer our best to you in the passing of your good friend. Yeah. So
Thank you.
3 rounds at the Preserve, 4 rounds this weekend, then over to the Discmania Challenge, and then some international travel. Just give us a sense of how full is your tank right now, mentally, physically, and everything else, knowing we're in such a big stretch.
Yeah, I think I'm very thankful. I did end up dropping out of Crocol, and so after the Discmania Challenge, I'll be able to kind of slow roll it into back home to Pensacola, and then get prepared and packed and kind of be able to settle before having to go over to Europe. So I think that's going to be a really nice reset. There were a lot of logistical things that I had to figure out because I am playing in the World Games in Chengdu, China. So there were also some, there's paperwork and all of this stuff I needed to do for that event. And so we're finally at a place where I can kind of chill. And I think we're on the home stretch. So mentally, I feel a lot better. Physically, I still feel really good. It's just, I have to make sure I take my time with rest and relaxation after the rounds. I think we'll be playing late these next few days, so being able to kind of have a slow morning I think will also help. But just still trying to keep the same rhythm that I normally do, other than we'll be playing in the afternoon. So just trying to figure out that schedule, but I think it's going to be a good thing going into this weekend.
Well, I'd like to say congratulations and thank you for being an ambassador and representative of the U.S. over there in the World Games. With that, we've got Holyn Handley from the PDGA with one more.
Thanks.
Hey, Missy.
Hi.
Hey, what sets this event apart to you? Obviously, a celebration of women's disc golf from 8 to 80 playing all in one spot. So what makes U.S. Women's special and different than any other major or Elite Series event?
Yeah, I think it's just, coming out to the courses for practice and then sort of seeing a lot of people hang out and, even checking in for the event. We got to tie-dye some shirts, and so I was just there with a lot of other women, and we were all just tie-dyeing shirts and kind of just having fun. And, I think that finding that little extra, camaraderie with people that you don't see every weekend, the new faces, people you've seen at prior U.S. Women's, and all of the different age groups and the young ones coming up and the legends that have been in the sport forever. It's just, it's a really nice way to get together with people either that you've met before or have heard of or are seeing coming up the ranks. And so, I think that's the biggest thing, is just really seeing the impact of where our sport is going, and hopefully us as the professionals have helped in some way to sort of be inspirations to those who are coming up, and also, like I said, being able to see some of the legends that I've heard of and have watched before. So it's a great culmination of a lot of things.
Yeah, what about that young generation that's coming? There's a lot of girls that are playing year after year after year and slowly rising. FA1's the largest division we've ever had at U.S. Women's, and a lot of those have jumped to FPO. So what are you seeing from the youngins?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping I'm maybe retired by the time they get up into my division. But no, it's just really cool to see, the evolution. I've seen young kids when they were in FJ8, and now they're, killing it at AM Worlds or Junior Worlds, and they're coming for us. So, I think it's amazing to see, and just seeing the level of skill, and being able to actually watch some of the coverage. There's some good filmed rounds of the FA1 divisions and the junior divisions, and I'm watching those. I love watching those, and I think it's because I didn't play when I was a kid. I didn't find the sport until I was in my mid to late 20s. So I love seeing the younger kids getting involved early, and I think it's just going to do wonders for the sport going forward.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Welcome back. We are coming to you live from the UW Green Bay Manitowoc campus, and I'm joined now by Valerie Mandujano. Val, you're coming off the highest rated round of your career last weekend at the Preserve. What are you doing to put some of that magic in a jar or spread that fairy dust, whatever the case is? What are you doing to bring some of that you left Minnesota with to bring it here this weekend?
You know, that's funny. Mason asked me the same thing. He's like, if we can only get you into that mindset this week, we'll be fine. And honestly, I was trying to describe what I was thinking during that round, and I really couldn't. I think, just having somebody on my card that I was just having good conversation with put me into that mindset. And I think if me and Mason can pick up some good topics, I think I'll be just fine.
I have to then follow that up with, who were you talking to and what were the conversations about?
The young player herself, Rebecca, we were just talking about, she's from Canada, just the difference of, just little things of how we grew up, how she grew up, how she's planning on getting her license soon. So just kind of that aspect.
And no one knows coming up in the sport like you do, you and your sister, so much success, especially in the junior divisions, the world titles and everything else. In fact, you won one of your junior titles in Madison in 2016, beating Kona Montgomery. Mm-hmm. And then you finished runner-up last time we were here in Madison in 2022 to Hailey King, another young player. What is it about the aura or the vibes or the Midwest for you to play so well around here?
I don't know. I'm not sure, honestly. I have a lot of family from the Chicago area, and I grew up there partly, I guess you could say. So I don't know if it's kind of being back on that soil. I don't know. Something just clicks when I'm here. I think it's just maybe it feels a little bit like home, kind of the same way I feel down south.
Going back to last weekend and that final round, the 12 under, no bogeys, and everything. It was just a thing of beauty. You were driving it perfectly and then making pretty much every single putt that you had a look at. Did you do anything, we'll say, from round 1 or 2 to just change up game plan at all in terms of how you were attacking the course out there?
Yeah, round 1, my thought process was just to play safe and see where that puts me just because of the weather conditions. And honestly, it didn't go as planned. Hole 18, I took a 9 the first round, and the second round I took a 4, or third round I took a 4. But I pretty much just said I'm going to erase that game plan and go for everything. Why not at that point? And we'll see where that gets me, and it worked. I felt like it was all commitment, and I think that's really what helped me, is I just told myself just to commit to every shot, because I saw where it got me playing safe the first round. It really didn't help me move up on the leaderboard at all. If anything, it kind of just made me, go on this decline spiral. I think I placed like 30th at the moment after the first round. So I told myself, let's erase that game plan and let's try to move up some spots. And that's exactly what I did. I just, committed to every shot.
Yeah, I believe you went +4 to even, then to -12.
I think that is correct.
Yeah, an incredible improvement. Switching from everything that's at the Preserve, relatively open, golf kind of style play that you have out there, ball golf style that is, coming to these courses, compare and contrast how you'll switch your mindset for this weekend, knowing how wooded these courses are.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think I'm just going to send, honestly, every shot the same way, just because I tried to play a lot of the layups, and I feel like you can easily get into the same amount of trouble as you would like a fairway or a mid-range. I was telling Mason I pretty much have to go driver almost off every tee and scramble from there. I just have to make sure my scramble game is on, and I think that's how you'll execute a lot of the scoring out here, is just scrambling well.
Aggressive, all gas. I'm excited to watch that this weekend. Also, some new opportunities coming up and new experiences for you after the Discmania Challenge. I see that you're going to Norway, and then of course Estonia and Finland. I believe it's your first time traveling internationally to play golf. Just talk about that excitement and what that means for you and your career.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty mind-blowing to think that I get to travel, outside of the U.S., and that's where disc golf has taken me. I'm excited to venture out and see different countries, and this is the first stop. I can't wait to see, how the Europeans do it, I feel like there's so much hype behind it, and I'm really blessed to be able to see it now.
All right, we got one more question coming for you.
Hi, Valerie.
Hello.
My name is Steven. I work for CHAFER News here in Manitowoc, the local media group here. Just talk about your experience. I know you said you're from Chicagoland or grew up there for a little bit, but how is it being up here playing like near the lake and the course itself so far when it comes to practicing?
Oh, it's beautiful. It has a little bit of difference in the courses. I think the trees are a lot smaller, but there's a lot of them compared to where I grew up. And one of the benefits is the Lake Michigan. I got to do a cold plunge yesterday to cool down. It was pretty warm out here, and I played 2 rounds. So the cold plunge is good for the body and the muscles, which is something I couldn't do back home.
You're enjoying yourself here, though, so far?
Yes, I am.
Glad to hear that.
All right, Valerie Mandujano, we wish you the best of luck, and we'll be right back with Eveliina Salonen. Welcome back. Our world champion, Eveliina Salonen, joins us. Eveliina, I'm just going to say, we've all missed you. Where have you been?
Yeah, I took a little break from tournaments. I feel like season is getting so long, so I need like one little break to for my mental health than play just other sports and practice more.
Looking at what you're registered for the rest of the year and then what you've played in, you are on a much slower pace in terms of tournaments, in terms of what you were just talking about, how many tournaments you're playing in. What is it year after year as you're getting more experienced in disc golf? Are you just trying to set a different pace and not play as much?
No, I just feel I'm always doing one longer trip, like on the start of the season, and other longer trip to US also, like to finish my season. But now there is like these majors, so I have to do 4 trips to US on this season. So that's why it went like this.
Yeah, it's crazy to see that the last time you were here was for the major, the Champions Cup, and now you're coming back for this one. But then your plans have you leaving Sunday or Monday already? Are you heading back out right away?
Yeah, I have to go because we have a European Championships and it's going to be so busy. We are getting to Norway on Tuesday night and our tournament is starting on Thursday morning. So we have only one practice round in jet lag, so it's going to be interesting.
Well, at least there'll be a number of other players that'll probably be on the same flights with you, so everybody will be jet lagged as you head back. During this time where you haven't been in these tournaments, what are you practicing? What are you working on, if anything, or are you just completely relaxing?
No, I have played, but it's mostly putting and playing just casual rounds with my friends.
Where do you feel like your game is at right now, knowing you've been practicing and playing more casually? How do you feel about your game at the moment?
I don't know. I hope I'm going to play better than like previous tournament on this season.
Looking at these two courses, do you have a favorite, and what do you think about both of them? But do you have a favorite one?
This one, what was the name?
Silver, the Super Silver at Silver Creek, and then Roland Ridge is outside of town.
Yeah, I like this one better. But yeah, let's see how it goes.
How would you describe these courses to someone back at home in Finland?
Super hard and wooded, but I feel there is too many trees. Like, as Valerie said, I feel my game plan is most of the holes that I just close my eyes, drive as hard I can, and just hope, because I feel some of the holes there is too much luck on the play, and you just have to hope to get on the good place.
For a couple of years now, you've been one of the best, if not the best, tee to green thrower of the disc. When you're looking at a course like this, or either of these courses, when are you thinking about a fairway driver versus a mid-range? How do those factors come in, especially if you're saying there's a lot of trees? What are you thinking about with whatever disc you're going to go to?
I don't think about that much, because I love to throw faster discs, and I feel I can hit my lines and gaps better with like full power than slowing down, so yeah.
When you were here in 2022 to play the USWDGC in Madison, Wisconsin, you finished sixth. Is there anything that you can say about the golf in the state of Wisconsin or your time that you've had here? Is there anything when you go home and you talk about Wisconsin disc golf, is there anything that comes to mind?
Maybe that the area and like everything looks more Finnish here than like I feel anywhere in the US where I have been.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. We've got one more question coming in from Hayden at the PDGA.
Hey, Eveliina. Can you talk about just the vibe of this tournament and, just being surrounded by 340-something other women that are playing this week?
Yeah, it's so much fun and great to see so many women and girls here, and like everyone are sharing the same passion, like to just play disc golf, so it's so great.
Nice. We just updated the world rankings this morning, and 3 out of the top 5 women are international. Silva jumped to number 5. So what does that mean to you to see 3 international flags in the top 5 players in the world?
It's not a surprise for me, and like it's just great to see, and I think there is more coming.
You talked a little bit about your crazy schedule coming up. We'll speak again in a few short weeks in Finland at the World Championships. What's the vibe like in Finland right now as we're getting ready for the whole disc golf world to be watching your home country?
Yeah, I feel everyone is talking about that all the time, and people are really waiting that tournament. So I'm just super excited, and it's going to be big.
Nice. Well, I think that's all, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Joining us now is Hailey King. And Hailey, you've played in 34 events in Wisconsin, which is more than all the other women at this presser combined. So go ahead and share with the world what you know about Wisconsin disc golf.
Well, I can say that I basically grew up playing Rolling Ridge, so that'll be a lot of fun. And a lot of my tournaments were actually out here at Silver Creek too. So yeah, majority of my time playing in Wisconsin are at these courses that we're playing this weekend, and it'll be fun.
Truly the definition of a home course advantage, even if you're not living here at the moment. Maybe expand just a little bit on the women's disc golf scene in Wisconsin and some of the things that maybe helped you or encouraged you, or what you could share with the world about the women's disc golf scene here.
Yeah, so, well, when I first started playing, there wasn't that big of a scene to begin with, and Ladies First from Milwaukee, they were actually the women who came out, and Barrett White is a person that comes to mind that told me to play disc golf a little more seriously, that I was pretty good at it, and next thing you know, I started traveling, and I was able to play with a lot more women around the States, and ever since then, it's really just blown up.
I'll add on to that. Ladies first, Jenny Sanfilippo, an incredible human that has helped push us all forward so much within the scene in Wisconsin for sure. Last weekend, you were at the Preserve. It's the first time we've seen you at a big tournament in a little while. You finished 6th. What does that tell us about where your game is at right now?
It says it's pretty good. We had the first round was a little rough for us who teed off a little early, so for able to come back and take solo 6 meant a lot.
There you had a 77% scramble rate, which some can say is great, but also maybe, the other side of that coin is that the fact that you were having to scramble, but you did it better than anyone else. Well, what are some of the other takeaways specifically about playing there and where your game was at, and the things that were working well for you?
I think at Preserve, it was just coming back out again, it was a little shocking how clean I was throwing and how far I was throwing, that everything is just much smoother than it was in the last couple of years, that I really feel like I'm throwing the disc better than I probably ever have.
I've seen a little bit on your socials about you playing casually, and you're always practice putting, it seems like, even if it's just one for the day or a whole bunch in terms of the repetitions. What is your routine like when you're at home and not necessarily out on the tour? What's your routine like?
When I'm at home, I pretty much just only putt and throw into net, and maybe once a week I'll go throw scrapyard or something like that, but I really just kind of stay at home and practice my putting. It's the easiest thing to practice, yet the hardest part of the game, so if you can do that, you'll be good. So yeah, working on that.
A lot of fans around the world asking where you are, where you've been, what events you're registered or not. What's going into the decision-making process for the events that you're playing and competing in this year versus the ones you're not at?
Yeah, I mean, a lot happened last year. I was injured the whole year, so this year I just really wanted to make sure that I didn't get injured again by skipping those events that I tend to get injured at. So a lot of that has just really been picking and choosing what events I really want to play, and then making sure that I play events that I'm going to be happy at and not kind of regret going to, even though I love the disc golf. It's just that mental space. I don't want to get in that bad mental space again.
Just to dive a little bit more into that, what determines if you think you're going to be happy at an event, whether it's the scene, the course, the state, whatever? What are some of those determining factors?
I mean, I kind of know before I'm going out there, and I know we have a week or two to drop out, so I know within a week or two if I am feeling comfortable to go back out or not. And it's a lot of my own personal issues that I'm dealing with that I don't feel like getting into, but it's really just listening to myself and just committing to whatever decision I make.
I think one of the biggest maybe surprises for someone of your caliber is that we don't see you going to the European Disc Golf Festival or currently registered for the Worlds in Finland. Is there any way or any scenario where that might change for you, that you'd compete in those events, or no? No,
I don't. I think it's too early for disc golf to be moving to Europe like that, in all honesty, so I don't really do that. It's very expensive to go over there, and I don't know. If I go to play to Europe, I want to be there so I can actually enjoy Europe too, and the tour doesn't really allow me to do that in the way that I want to do that, so I'll be going once I'm ready to go on a vacation.
And I know you don't live here anymore, but if you were on the Visitors Bureau for Wisconsin Disc Golf and wanted to tell everybody about it, what are some of the things that you'd use to entice more people to come here and play?
I mean, this is real woods golf. In my opinion, this is real disc golf. So if you want to play real disc golf, come to Wisconsin.
That is a perfect tagline. My final question to that, sorry, I got one more now, is we've heard from a number of people here at the interview or at the presser today that they feel like there's maybe a little too much luck and or too many trees. Do you have a rebuttal to that?
I completely disagree, but I mean, I've played this course for like 10 years, both courses, so I've had some experience on them, and I'm just going to say a lot of trees have fallen down, so if they thought that before, I guess they're a little lucky now. Again, this is real disc golf. You got to know where you put your disc, and you have to be able to control it, so I think that's maybe why it's a little harder compared to what everybody's used to.
Well, the last time the U.S. Women's was here in Wisconsin, you left champion. I wish you the best of luck this year, and now I've got Stephen from Seahafer News.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You talked about how you played Rolling Ridge before, and I'm guessing you probably now practice at Silver Creek. Has anything really changed since the last time you've played?
Honestly, I can only think hole 1 at Silver Creek. They just pushed the basket back from what I remember. That's the only change that I can think of.
Do you think that's a benefit, that it's like, oh, this actually feels similar?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a really nice benefit.
Okay.
Again, Hailey, we wish you the best of luck this week, and we'll be right back with Paige Pierce. Joining us now is 5-time USWDGC champion Paige Pierce, also 5-time world champ. We'll get all those in there. The last time you won the USWDGC, Paige, was in 2021. What is it going to take for you to win here in 2025?
Birdies.
Okay, we're done. Thank you. Speak to what shots are required to go out and get birdies on these two courses that many have talked about how wooded they are.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us how you're going to have to go out and get them?
Yeah, so we start the tournament off at Holyn Ridge, and I would say that one's the more wooded of the two. Definitely is going to require the birdies, but I think also just like patience when you hit an early tree. There's going to be a lot of tree hits, even the person that's leading. I mean, you see Gannon Burr winning a tournament by 11 last week, right? And it's like, even if he was at that, at the peak of his game, winning by 11, setting records, like you put him on Holyn Ridge, he's hitting trees. So, yeah, I think just staying patient and staying like adaptable to what lie you're faced with. And, you could be on the fairway and still have to scramble. So I think definitely birdies, but also just staying calm. And sometimes you're going to have to, bite the bullet and be okay with a bogey, and just just staying patient. And then when we get over to Silver Creek in the weekend, I think that's really, really where you're going to need to be focused on the birdies and, just making putts in wind and, just honestly just trying to go as low as possible.
We have a forecast that includes possible rain, possible high winds. We may or may not see some of the heat wave that's in lower Wisconsin over the next few days. And then you're playing alongside Lake Michigan. Anything unique that you're preparing for this weekend in terms of conditions?
Not unique. You never know what you're going to get. So I feel like over the years I've played any kind of weather that could be thrown at us. So take it as it comes and be prepared. Have excess of towels, have a whale sack, have an umbrella, and, keep my hand dry if it's raining. So other than that, just like really focusing on if it is wet, slowing my feet down and making sure I have a good grip before I release.
Well, carrying off the note of focus, you're in an area that I believe is a little extra special to you in this part of the country, in this specific state. Are you going to be pulled in any other directions for things off the course, things that you want to be doing outside of the golf?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I married into Manitowoc family, so my father-in-law is the tournament director, and it's the players' meetings at the family hotel, and so it feels really special being here and seeing all the people that I know and have grown to be family to me. So it's definitely extra special, and my wife's family is going to all be here, and my mom and stepdad are flying out as well. So it'll be really nice to blend the families again, and just like have a support system here, whatever that means, like as far as like what place I take in the tournament. Obviously I'm trying to win, but just knowing that I have the support full on, and also that I am here to help. It takes a huge team to run an event of any size, and seeing it firsthand now, seeing Jim like getting home like last night at 9 p.m. and he's still up on the computer till 1 a.m. like writing emails, making phone calls, trying to make sure the players' dinner tonight, everybody has, gluten-free, vegan options, and it's all labeled well. Like, there's so many things that go into it, and so it also just makes me appreciate it a lot more, seeing the behind the scenes. And I think it's an experience I hope all my competitors have at some point too, to just like really see what goes into running an event.
Knowing that your primary sponsor in Discraft, also a co-sponsor here of the event, and then everything you just said about family and Jim, is there any added pressures in any capacity for everything you just described? Is there anything else that you feel like might weigh on your shoulders?
Not really, I don't think. I've kind of let pressure go. I've tried to. It could still sneak in for sure, but I want to win it for myself. Like I said, that the family's going to be there, the Discraft's going to be there. Break my ankle, can't play for a year. They increase my pay, so there's no pressures externally. It's all internally. And Discraft, having them be the title sponsor was a huge, huge goal of mine. And back and forth on the phone and emailing with them saying, like, you guys have to do this. You have to sponsor this event. You know, this off season you picked up 5 key MPO players. You didn't pick up any FPO, so I need you to pick up the U.S. Women's and show what a good major should be like and have those Discraft feather banners out. And, you know, you get a Paige disc, a Missy disc, a Val disc, and a Holyn disc all in the players pack. And then at the Beach Bash tonight, more Discraft discs. And so it's just really cool. They supplied me with a bunch of lightweight discs as well. You know, we got 340 competitors, and a lot of them do throw lightweight. So when Discraft picked up all this FPO talent, it's really cool that they also upped the numbers of lightweight discs and different molds in those things. So, and they got them available here because they knew how important it was to not only me, but our whole team. So, yeah, the game's growing. There's lots of young women here, and I want to give them something to look up to as far as, like, this is the team that you want to be on. They take care of the ladies, and, yeah, just as much as the men.
With all of that in mind, I want to go back to last weekend where I know Discraft was very supportive. We missed you at the Preserve,
Yeah.
and some people were wondering where you were, but describe what you were doing last weekend and how you were getting support there.
Yeah, so if all goes well, this month would be like one of the best months of my life. I think if I can win this major, I would staple that down for sure. Like, I competed at Portland Open and then drove across the country in the RV that Discraft let me use, and then flew to Canada to design 2 courses, and then flew back and went to Bonnaroo Music Festival where we did a disc golf demo. We had a 2-hour time slot, and Bonnaroo did get canceled, but the disc golf was the last thing right before it got canceled. So the rain came in and we got to do the whole event. My wife's working on the video, so you guys will see that in the coming days. Like, just the crowd we had. We ran a bunch of relay games, like Ring of Fire and then relay games. And then all the first time, I kind of started it out just like, hey, disc golf, blah, blah, blah. Raise your hand if you've never played. And all the people raised their hand. I'm like, all right, y'all come with me over here. Let me teach you how to do it. And then all my friends ran all the relay games, and everyone that showed up got a free Discraft Fierce. And we gave away 750 discs, and there were people that left without a disc as well. So it was just incredible, truly incredible to see all the avid disc golfers, but then people that have never been and saw disc golf on the schedule and were like, I got to go see what that's about. So yeah, and then coming straight from there to here, competing in a major, hopefully bringing home a major title. And then next week we have a family reunion, so before we fly to Europe. So it's just kind of just all of my passions in 1 month, and it just feels like time flies by sometimes, you know, and it's really cool to look back and be like, wow, I got to do a lot of different type of things this month. And yeah, it's just support every step of the way has been very, very much supported by Discraft and my family and friends as well.
Well, I'll say your attitude and excitement is certainly infectious. Thank you for everything that you're doing. Hayden Henry's got another one for you.
Hey, Paige. There's probably not many players that have played this event more than you. It's a major, but it's a little different. So how important is it to keep U.S. Women's going, and what makes it stand out to you year after year?
Yeah, we talk about that a lot, I think, because USWDGC, the men's version, is very tradition-based. You know, hole 17, same hole every year. Winthrop, you know what's the hot score usually. You know the records, and U.S. Women's doesn't have that, right? Because we switch venues every year. And it kind of gets talked about that it's not as prestigious, and throw pink should be the major. But that's kind of what I was answering Terry's question, is like, I really want to show that this is a tradition based. I know that it moves around, but U.S. Women's has been going on for, I don't know how many years, over 2 decades, 25 years. And, you know, that is something that people keep passing the torch, and you learn from the previous championship what to do better, what they did well that you want to make sure you repeat. So just continuing to set the standard, I feel like that is something that we want to focus on. And, you know, having Jim be the TD and getting all these calls like, hey, I need some advice on this. What should we do on that? And just like, yeah, it's just really cool and really special to be a part of it, and to see how many things go into making a championship so special and memorable for 340 women all over the world. So I just hope that everyone has a good time. I know after this we have a beach bash with fireworks and buffet style food, and tomorrow we have a juniors only ice cream social, and we have trivia nights, and we have cosmic bowling, and last night we did a pro panel. So just like having all these side events, because people enjoy disc golf in different ways. So having all these different ways that we can celebrate this beautiful game that we play, and besides just the competition side. So yeah, I kind of forgot your question, I have to admit.
You answered it beautifully.
Okay.
Thank you. Your first win, they had 29 players in the FPO division in 2014. There's close to 80 this week.
Wow.
What is that? Just what do you have to say about that, and just the level that has risen in the past 10 years?
Yeah, I think, that's a big part on the media here. These cameras, the people that are out there behind the cameras showing the game and showing the prestige behind it, the opportunities, the careers ahead. We're doing it, but you guys are showing people that, hey, this is a career path. And, like I think back when Macbeth signed that multi-million-dollar contract and he bought a McLaren, and people are like, whoa, I guess disc golf is something, And so to see that and to have it in the public eye, I think now that combined with things like UPlay or Edge and getting it in schools, the combination of those two things is like getting kids aware that it is a career path, and then bringing the baskets into the school and teaching the teachers. Those two things have really, really surmounted into this it's just a beautiful thing, just showing so many people that this is bigger than hippies wearing tie-dye and, grabbing a six-pack. So nothing wrong with that either. I do the same sometimes.
Thank you so much, Paige. Here's
Yeah.
Stephen with Sea Hafer News with one more.
I promise it's the last one.
Okay, no worries.
You've been doing this for many years. I was at the pro panel that you were talking about. Is this to you just another game, another tournament, or is it still just as fun as it was when you first started out?
I think, you kind of ebb and flow. Sometimes you get burnt out, sometimes you're excited. As of right now, I just feel super excited. I think also U.S. Women's in particular just really is extra exciting because of all those side events, things that we don't get to do at a normal tournament. So yeah, the versatility in different types of events definitely makes it exciting, and knowing there's a juniors only ice cream social, and we're going to have all of these the disc dyeing clinics. It's just cool that there's so many different avenues, and that I think where excitement typically generates is new. Right? And so having all these new things is obviously very exciting. So just being a part of it and still seeing new things 3 decades later is really, really cool.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time.
Yep.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are live at the UWGB Manitowoc campus, and I'm joined with our final competitor of the press conference in Cadence Burge. Cadence, one heck of a weekend last weekend. That's what I can say. I'd love to hear from you as to how you would recap and look back on your performance at the Preserve.
I felt pretty good about it. I feel like I started off pretty strong and was shooting hot kind of right out the gate and had the cameras coming to me really quickly, which I don't think I've ever had the cameras come to me halfway through the rounds, so that was kind of cool. And I held the lead for most of the weekend, which I'm sure like not everyone was expecting, since when you go to sleep at night with the lead and wake up the next day, most people don't keep it. But I kind of played smooth the second day, managed to hold onto it. I think the nerves really got to me the third day, especially on that front nine. It definitely showed. I was over par for most of the rounds. But I'm really happy with how I came back on the back nine, and I was able to secure my second ever podium finish ever, which was pretty cool. And while I really wanted to win because I'm pretty competitive, I was happy with how I did overall.
One of the things you said after a round last week in talking to Grant is that the cameras typically don't really make you that nervous. You might have had a little nerves final day, but the cameras themselves don't make you nervous. Is that an age thing? Is that a no fear? What is that in terms of cameras and media not necessarily making you nervous or scared?
I don't know. I kind of just see the cameras as a way that lets other people watch, or lets my family watch, or lets me go back and watch after. So I've never really seen it as an added pressure thing, since all the pressure that I have is kind of just on myself. The nerves, that wasn't from there being more cameras or more people there. That was just simply fueled by the fact that I wanted to win so badly, that I'm playing with these amazing players, and that makes me more nervous. But I really enjoy the cameras. I like being filmed. I think it makes it more fun.
Huge building block is how I would look at last weekend, and maybe even the stumble out of the gate in the third round, but you just assessed how you ultimately came back and you finished strong. What are your takeaways from having the lead for a couple of days, struggling in the early round, and then coming back? How do you take that to the next event, so to speak?
I think it kind of just shows that you kind of need experience to be able to get these good finishes. I think I need moments like that in order to just learn what it's like to be up there. It's pretty hard to win your first time. Ever being in a lead or ever being on a lead card. So I think the more experience you get doing that, the less and less nervous you'll probably be going to the next time. So maybe the next time I'm holding the lead, I might still be super nervous, but maybe ever so slightly less nervous than I was that last time.
We'll say, speaking of experience, you've been playing disc golf obviously a very long time, but you just graduated high school recently. You're one of the youngest competitors, if not the youngest, in the FPO field. Is there anyone else that you can share experiences or have conversations with that are, we'll say, going through something similar to you right now, this weekend?
Other young people? Yeah, there's definitely some other people out there that are my age. One of my friends, Shelby, who's playing in one of her first FPO majors ever this weekend. It's pretty cool. So I think she's going through something similar. She's one of the youngest people out there. There's a couple other people that are my age also that I play with all the time. I think we all feel the same way. All these people that we've been watching, they're much older than us, and we're just gaining experience and trying to be out here and keep up with them.
Yesterday I had the pleasure of walking around and filming the doubles, some of the doubles action that took place. You were on the card along with your friend Shelby, as you just said. After playing that course in a practice round, or competitively I should say, for practice, what are your takeaways for these two courses?
The courses aren't really my favorite, honestly. They didn't really feel like the layouts they had us play are the most ideal for us. A lot of the par fours are really short, 400 to 420-ish, which just feels not long enough. And the par threes, a lot of them are 360 to 390 feet, which feels too long for us. So a lot of tweener holes that are a little odd, which I think are fueled by the fact that some of the gaps are maybe, not really there. Maybe some extra trees that need to be down, or there were some more pin locations or tee pads they could have switched for us. I don't know. I think it's more of a scramble course, really, than a golf course, I'd say. So people that have, a good variety of shots are probably going to do well here.
And I'll follow that up and say, do you feel like that's could be said of both courses in terms of how they're wooded and maybe some of the distances from the tees to pins? Do you think scrambling is going to be a key factor here, or will there be something else that the winner will be doing?
I mean, usually I think the winner's kind of doing everything good every weekend. They're putting and throwing and scrambling well. But I think for both courses, yeah, scrambling's pretty important. The other course, Holyn Ridge, I think, I think it has a couple more open holes, but also somehow is more tightly wooded, if that makes any sense. So I kind of think it's still the same thing. It's going to be lots of scrambling, lots of hitting gaps, I think. Even if some of them might be poke and hope a little bit, there's still a lot of actual gaps to be hit and shot placement.
There's a lot of conversation about wooded golf, as you were just mentioning. I reached out to your dad last week to confirm that your nickname, Chainsaw?
Yes.
Let's just set the record straight for the whole world, because I hesitated on actually referring to you as that until I spoke with your father. Give everyone the story from your perspective. How'd you arrive at such a nickname?
So it was several years ago, I think right before I was leaving for Junior Worlds or something, maybe in 2021 or 2022. I was playing League at one of my local courses with my dad and some friends, and they were kind of just saying that I needed a scary nickname for when I got better and was on the Pro Tour. They wanted people to have something to be scared of, and I think they were kind of going through names, and one of them randomly said oh, Chainsaw Burge, that's what we should call you, and it was kind of just like a joke back then, and a while, this might have been before 2021 actually, because then I went to Junior Worlds the next year it was. And I think I got posted by the PDGA or some media that was there posted me on Facebook. And my friend at the time commented, go Chainsaw, on it as a joke. And my dad saw that comment and thought it was hilarious. And so he and my dad and a couple of our friends from Huntsville have been calling me that for years at this point. And when I got onto coverage at, I think it was Casey, they took that opportunity to tell the media that was my name and get them to call me that. And so I've been getting called that since then by people.
And just for the record, you embrace it. You're good with it.
Yes, no, I'm good with it. I had earrings that were made for me with little chainsaws on them that I wore last week, and they're adorable.
Yeah, we saw those, and it certainly should be striking fear in the hearts of everyone else. It's been great watching your solid play. You've already won almost as much this year as you did in all of last year, and I know there's school and other factors in that, but what does that say about your year and maybe even your ceiling for how good you can be and what you can do in the sport?
I definitely feel good about my year so far. I feel like I've made a lot of improvements, and honestly, most parts of my game, I've gotten my rating up. I feel like my putt's gotten better. I'm throwing further. I feel like it shows that I'm getting better. I think with age, I think you kind of just get better, but at the same time, you still have to be focused enough in order to embrace that. And I think that I like the direction I'm going.
All right. Well, we wish you the best of luck. You come in as the 13th highest rated competitor. We saw what you did last weekend at the Preserve, and we'll all be scared of the chainsaw. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
welcome back. Joining us now is our PDGA Competition Director in Phil Diloné. Phil, PDGA Major focusing exclusively on our women's divisions. What does it take to put on an event of this style and nature and bring it here to the Manitowoc area?
I'd say first and foremost, an amazing host team. Matt Lloyd from the PDGA has been our event lead on this, and then just everyone from Jim and Lindsay and the staff here in Manitowoc in the city of Wisconsin, of this entire city. They've done great. They've ran a silver event back in the day, and they run historically great events up in this region. But yeah, I think we have 140 plus volunteers this weekend, 4 courses, lots of action. So Fred from their team as well has put in countless hours, and just if you have been a local to Silver Creek or have seen it online in the past, it has some significant clearing and improvements. I was pretty shocked when I seen the grounds today, and just in general, lots of time, effort, lots of mitigation of moisture and wood chips, mulch, and the courses are looking great out here. So they definitely brought an army. They have a lot of volunteers and an extremely good staff.
Well, let's go back to yesteryear for just a moment. When you've been here in the past, you competed at this particular event. You've now started wearing other hats, but you've competed here. How would you describe the courses and the experience playing in this area?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Midwest guy myself, but in general, Wisconsin in the spring and in early summer, it's going to be thick. But the courses are good. I think they test you. They have great competition for this field, especially for all the women that are here this week. I think they're going to have a lot of really good holes, not too many tweeners or anything, just regular good woods golf. Yeah, and Silver Creek, especially the Super Silver layout, that has a special place in my heart. I think I played well here when I played that event back in 2020. But yeah, in general, the course, just walking it today, it looks great, and I think it's ready to see some of the best competitors in the world.
Well, and if they also want to see how you did, I believe that's even archived on the YouTubes. People can go check that out.
Yeah.
Let's focus in on this being a major, but there's other majors that people need to either bid for or possibly attract and bring to their area, whether it's in a different state or a different country. What are some of the processes that take place in order for majors to be hosted?
Yeah, so the first week of June, we released the 2028 bid process for 2028 and 2027 U.S. Women's specifically. So 2027's U.S. Women's is open. We do not have a location in 27, and then all majors are open for bid in 28. So if you're interested, your community organization, they can go online to PDGA and find the bid package there specifically for each, Junior Worlds, Pro Worlds, all that specifically broken down. But yeah, I think that's all live and ready to go. We have our next couple majors coming up. We have Masters Worlds outside of U.S. Women's. I don't want to overshadow this event, but foreshadowing to the next couple events. We have Masters Worlds, almost hit a record. I think we're at 10,096 competitors. The record for a Worlds, that'll be the records for Masters Worlds, but the records for a Worlds was when they were combined just over 1,100 people. So that's going to be big. It's on eight courses in Minneapolis, so that's going to be people from all over the world coming into that. And then foreshadowing a little bit more, we have EDGF, European Disc Golf Festival, happening right around the corner, as well as Pro Worlds in Finland. So it's going to be a busy stretch for the ONL team in general, and yeah, DGN and everyone else that's going to be there in the community following along.
Just to clarify, a little over 1,096 competitors at Masters Worlds is what I think you meant. 10,000 would be pretty amazing, but
yes.
Yeah, I think you're thinking 1,000. It's major
1,096.
Major undertaking, nonetheless. Jason and crew were excited about that. When we're at the any World Championships, or majors for that matter, PDGA ramps up with additional support, additional boots on the ground, so to speak, and lots of other things going on. Can you just maybe share some of that with who's here and some of the tasks that they're doing to help out the host team?
Yeah, so I think just in general from the PDGA side, one big key component that everyone's going to be watching from home is Holyn Handley. He's going to be jumping around all courses, giving us all the content that we need and see and love online, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. So That man puts a lot of work behind the scenes. He's working long nights, and just like you, Terry, like you know how that is, getting content out late at night. And then we have our O&L staff, myself, Patrick Graziani, Jamie Kemp, and Matt Lloyd as our core group. And then we also have contractor PDGA marshals. So we'll have, I think, off the top of my head, we have 4 additional marshals that are also going to be helping us around all the courses, making sure that everything's kind of going well.
Certainly a major undertaking. Is there anything that I didn't hit on that you wanted to make sure that you put out there and share?
No, that's it. I think I'm just in general, this is going to be my first U.S. Women's in general, and I think I'm excited. I think it's a special event. I'm really excited to be here in Manitowoc and just Wisconsin in general, and especially for this entire community to embrace it. So hopefully everyone's tuning in and gets to see some good competition this weekend.
All right, I've got Steven here. He's got one more, and then I'll wrap up with you.
Hi, Phil. Thanks for the time. The big thing is, how is the people and the volunteers, or people in Manitowoc, I should say, been working with you? Because I know you talked about the city in general, but how have the people who may have never heard of this or had no idea this was coming been maybe talking about or accepting it here?
Just from my understanding is I think that's all going well. I think that's a better question for Jim or Lindsay. But in general, I think we're here for a reason, and I think the host team in general has a lot of trust for us as well, and then the community also trusts in them, especially for us to bring in, and the economic impact in general that comes. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are excited. Even just the local BP down the street, right next to the community college in the Silver Creek, they're probably extremely happy for hundreds of members to be floating around this week.
Yeah, and I know the word has been wooded golf, good wooded golf. Some players are cool with it, some are not, but that's just how par for the course, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the woods, so get me away from the golf course, bring me back to the woods. I think it definitely helps separate competition. I think we're going to see it kind of even out the field for the ladies and really allow them to, if one person doesn't have a distance as their strong suit, they can still kind of be competitive in the woods. So I personally believe the woods, there's nothing, our game started from manipulating flights of disc and kind of watching things fly. So as much as we can bring it back to the woods, the better.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you so much for joining us, Phil. We're going to be right back with our tournament director in Jim VanLannon.
Thank you, Terry.
Welcome in, everyone. Jim VanLannon, our tournament director, is joining us. Also, Jim VanLannon, a member of the Wisconsin Disc Sports Hall of Fame, back from 2014.
2012,
Jim,
Terry. 2012, Terry.
So much excitement here in Wisconsin and specifically in the Manitowoc area. This is all really a brainchild of something you started decades ago. Give everyone a little history to why we're here today.
Sure. Well, Steady Ed cut the ribbon on this course in 2001 at Silver Creek. That was our first course. We now have about 130 or 140 baskets in the county, and they're a lot attributed to the hard work of the volunteers that have helped work with the cities and the businesses to put those baskets in the ground. Without that, we don't have courses, we don't have anything. We're continuing to make those courses better, and an event like this gives us the impetus to try and make that happen and continue to improve those courses.
All of those volunteers that have come for decades now have been under your watchful eye and your direction, but you're the guy that's been in charge and leading everyone. Where does that drive, where does that passion come from to continue to develop the disc golf scene in this area and across the state?
You know, you hear this a lot from disc golfers, but it's the flight of the disc. You see that disc fly and it goes and it sucks you right in. And then you see a family come out, and you see a family with 2 kids. And we put a basket in our old island hole, and Terry knows this island hole. We haven't had a basket in there for a while, and we put a permanent basket in there. And last week, I see a husband and wife and 2 kids putting on that basket. I'm like, yes, that's why we do this, to bring families out to enjoy the sport. So it really does, warms my heart to see all the people that come and play and enjoy the parks. And the more baskets we have in all different neighborhood parks, the more kids are going to start playing, the more families are going to start playing, and it just grows from there. And it's amazing how big this can really get. You know, the sport is really doing some great things.
Going back now again a couple of decades, you've hosted A tiers, B tiers, disc golf, stop on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. So pretty much every level of professional and amateur disc golf has taken place in this area where you've been tournament director. What does it mean for the Manitowoc area to have an event like this here in your backyard? You
know, the Pro Tour has done some amazing things for us, but this tournament is really blowing the top off. It's really it's making me humble to see what the PDGA is coming in and doing in our community and the support that's coming back from the community, people that I wouldn't expect to see saying, yeah, I know there's a tournament coming to town. And you know, normally I'm waiting for people to come up and say, hey, the park's closed, you can't close a public park. Well, I haven't heard that. I've heard people saying, I understand, I see that's happening, and we've made improvements to other local parks so that they have a place to play. And we've had a lot of love coming from those local players that realize that this is something that's going to help disc golf in this area. So it's pretty cool.
How crazy are you that you wanted to take on a major? I mean, you've run big events, and we just kind of recapped some of those, but what is it about bringing a major to town and having everyone here, and where did that idea come from for you?
Right. Well, Matt Strathman started looking at U.S. Women's 3 years ago, or 3 years. He bid 3 times. Third time, I think he said, this is my last. If we don't get it this time. So it was really a fact that the year before we had two bids that were very similar, and so it went to Texas. And it was a little disheartening, but you got to keep trying. You got to keep bidding for it. And it is the opportunity to show off your courses and your community and build and grow the sport. And what's better to build and grow than the women's sport? So if we can work with women's disc golf and improve that in our community, and then partnering with Lindsay and her Lakeshore Disc Golf Corporation and Lakeshore Ladies League has been really huge, just to bring those ladies to the parks and getting more women to play in the sport. So.
About 340 competitors here this week. When it's all said and done come Sunday night, what will it mean to not only be complete, but what will success look like to you?
Success is to have good competition. You know, these ladies are coming to town, they're going to enjoy the camaraderie. You know, last night I already had success. We had the player panel at Pet Skull Brewing, and you had 100 people that were asking questions of these ladies, and they were all inspired because the ladies that were up at the table are true champions. You know, you've got these ladies that are friends and competitors and hardworking to improve the sport day in and day out, and they're growing that sport from the inside out. They're going out and breaking the ice with the world, really, to bring disc golf to that next level. And, you know, you still have people that say, oh, it's just disc golf, or it's just a game, or, you know, it's not as big. But it really, truly is an awesome sport, and it's something that the more people that understand that, we're going to keep this sport growing. It's still in infancy, you know. The Pebble Beach of disc golf is on its way, and we're trying to get it closer. We do have our own Pebble Beach just down the road here, the Lighthouse Hole.
That and the beautiful backdrop of all of Lake Michigan. Here's Stephen with another one.
Thank you. Hi, Jim. I know you said you had to bid out and, you know, bid out a couple times to try and get the tournament to come here, but I'm not sure. What was like a pitch you would say when they'd say, okay, why Manitowoc of all places?
Right. Well, you need a good crew of staff and volunteers, and you need good courses. And we've got both of that. And it really is important to have the backbone before you bring the event to town. And I can understand 3 years ago when we bid for this, maybe our pitch was, yeah, we've got some nice courses. But now the pitch that we gave them and are giving now is events every night. We've got activities for the ladies, ways for them to get together and make a community, and also to have awesome courses. And we've gone above and beyond to make those good courses really good. I'm very proud of these volunteers and the hard work that they've put in to bring us to this point. And I'm very proud of the parks as well. The Parks Department has really come out of the, you know, I would say that they've always been our supporter and a true champion of disc golf. But coming into this event, it's amazing. We've had, just a couple of days ago, we had 12 lawnmowers running around the golf course. So I went out and gave all the kids a disc. You know, we're going to get them playing. So now we've got 12 parks crew that are going to come out and start playing disc golf. Let's go.
I'm guessing also them taking care of the tree line, what trees and whatever they pruned and, you know, made it look really nice before the tournament too.
Right, right. You know, we've got one of our course directors, he came up 2 days ago and he said, you know, if you got a brush cutter, I got a couple areas I might trim up. So if we had another week, we would keep making it better. And, you know, it's almost a shame we're running out of time. We're going to have the tournament tomorrow, you know. And so it's a blessing to have it, but, you know, you always wish that you could do just one more thing before you turn on the lights and do it. But I think we're ready.
But you're just hoping people show up then for the next 4 days then, yeah?
Yeah, we're more than ready. The courses are ready. The players are ready. Now we just need to turn on the lights and open the doors. Right.
Well, now we want to thank UWGB Manitowoc Campus for hosting us along with Jim and the host team. Thank you so much. And with that, we'll see you tomorrow for the live broadcast of the United States Women's Disc Golf Championship.